I was a huge skeptic of Joe Dispenza. I don't know why these meditations work. I'm not sure how they're designed to strike these chords and impact people in different ways. But if you do the work, the change that you get from that is permanent change. As a little bit of background, I had Bell's palsy 3 times in my early 20s, so I got the lucky lottery ticket of being the 1% of the 1%. And so I had it on my left side and my right side, had it on my right side twice. And I had permanent nerve damage in my right corner of my mouth, and my eyes wouldn't blink at the same rate. You basically get treated like a leper when you can't move half your face, you have food drooling out of your mouth, you can't speak properly, you look like you had a stroke. No one knows how to talk to you or treat you, so it's a pretty emotional response to having had it multiple times. I mean, I was very fearful going into the meditations, thinking that something like that might happen in my brain again. Well, my son Max just had double hip surgery, and I agreed for him to come here to recover from not just the physical process, but the emotional process. I was in Costco and I was picking up a bag of mulch and I tweaked my back, and I'd just been getting my fitness back and felt really good, so I was pretty bummed. And my son Max, who's 19, said, well, now's a pretty good time to start the work, and you know, you have nothing better to do, so you might as well do the meditations. I had done different forms of meditation, but never something like Dispenza. And in the first 5 minutes of my meditation, I felt a really warm feeling on my face that really freaked me out. And I felt this energy just release from my face. And so I stopped for a second. I said, okay, I'm healthy, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm gonna keep going. And 20 minutes later, I started to feel this feeling that I was smiling equally. I haven't smiled in a photograph literally since my early 20s. About a week later, I was doing another meditation and I felt this pain in the back part of my shoulder. It went up through my neck, through my face, up through my sinuses, and then right about here, it got very, very painful where I felt like I was getting electrocuted, but I trusted it and kept going. And then it got here and just released. And immediately I was able to start blinking at the same rate. About a week later, my mother was in town and I hadn't seen her for more than 5 minutes. She's sitting across from me. It was very upsetting for her to know that her son had something physical happen that she couldn't fix. And so she immediately looked at me and she said, you're blinking the same, you're smiling, what happened? When I was 13 years old, I was a pitcher. I tore my rotator cuff and my arms were literally, my right arm was 3 inches shorter. So every time I got a suit tailored, the tailor would look at me and say, you know, your arms aren't the same length. I was in a meditation, I was moving my shoulder, and then I did a slight pull on my arm that I would never be able to do consciously. And I felt something go around my shoulder, felt this release. And so the next morning, I'm having breakfast and I'm talking to Max, and I said, do you have all these weird things happen to you? And he's like, no. I was like, well, you know, I had this thing happen with my shoulder, and he's like, put out your arms. So I put out my arms, and you know, today this is a 1/2 inch longer. And so my right arm was 1/2 inch longer. So for someone who is such a massive skeptic, for all those that are turned off like I was, that, you know, this is all about walking out of wheelchairs, this was a really small thing, but I'd obviously been holding it my whole life. Be skeptical, and you'll be surprised.
Let's go. So, in case you didn't know, this man just went to a retreat or a workshop or whatever you want to call it from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza is not like a real typical doctor who prescribes drugs. He's more like a scientist who does testing on electromagnetic frequencies depending on different thoughts. And so he has realized that through thought, humans basically send a signal. This is what he tested within his equipment. And this signal, just like a signal from your phone or from your radio, is invisible, but is there. And whatever you feel starts a sort of magnet. If what you feel is aligned with what you think, what you desire, as in, I desire a car which is comfortable with leather seats, for example, but you always feel like, I hate my car, you continue to get what you feel. But once you can get your feeling aligned with what you think, as in, oh, it's great, you don't even think about it, as in, if you had the leather car, you wouldn't think about how uncomfortable it is, you would just enjoy it every single day. And when you learn to enjoy your life as if you already have the life that you projected, that you had an idea of, you basically enter the so-called manifestation. And cases like this, which are so many in this Dr. Joe Dispenza channel in the YouTube, basically just prove that when you can change your vibration, you can change what you attract. But in this case, you have to go to Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreat, which are very, very high priced. I'm not saying expensive, but it's a very high price, and it's typically, or in the US or somewhere else, that is very remote for a lot of people. So if you have a problem like this, sir, or another health problem, it's not like you have to wait 6 months for the next retreat and buy a huge plane ticket and pay a 3K for the retreat or whatever with the hotel expenses or whatnot. You can start healing yourself today just by some fresh ground beef that still looks kind of pale pinkish, just like my hand. And you, whenever you feel like it, you just eat it, just like ice cream. And just from eating this, I hope you still understand me. I have managed to put in remission about 10 symptoms, from bipolar, from OCD, ADD, so many different things that were leading me to become an obsessive human being that just couldn't live functionally. Now I'm fine, yeah. Sure, when I have people who pull my strings, I get pissed off, and I thank for it. I want to be pissed off when people pull my strings. It means I'm alive, it means I can defend myself, sure. But what I mean is, these people unlock something within their self, mind, heart, whatever, that makes them achieve that vibration within their heart to attract the new, better reality that they have envisioned all of their lives. But if you are not within the retreat doing those special meditations with all of that people around you and whatnot, it will not be very easy for you to do that transformation of vibration, of energy. Thus, what you can do at home is to eat clean. Just going from your current diet to the LPO method, which means getting rid of lectins, phytates, and oxalates, will already make a huge change in how you feel, how your skin looks and whatnot. So good. I've been eating like one and a half, not a half, kilograms of this every single day, and I don't even put on weight, and I'm like more than 1,000 calories surplus for sure. I have like a surplus of 1,000 calories. I mean, it's so freaking good. The thing is, this not only has protein, which a lean steak has, it has the fat that a fatty steak has. It has a whole bunch of nutrients that you wouldn't get if you cooked it, as in vitamins, minerals, and compounds such as creatine, taurine, so many things. So good. Carnitine, carnosine. You know, when you cook your meat, you some ASMR for you, I imagine. You basically destroy everything that gets cooked. If you cook your meat 50% of the nutrition is gone. Sure, you should cook very well unhealthy animals such as chicken, pork, and even eggs. But ruminants such as cattle, beef, are tendentially very healthy. I mean, don't do this if it's an animal which has received antibiotics. So easy. Just open the freezer, put it out, wait a couple of minutes, and eat right away. Or just leave it in the fridge if you prefer. So good. I mean, it's the easiest diet in the world. Zero preparation. It's very affordable. You will manage to have the vibration that this sir managed to feel within these very high cost meditations and whatnot. I have nothing more. I have to go to the kitchen to get more. And thus, I mean, if you want to feel inner peace, if you want to achieve the vibe that you've always wanted, which is what will lead you to become who you've always wanted. I mean, if you want to be a good husband, one that doesn't scream, for example, you just have to fix first how you feel. But how we feel has to do not with ourselves most of the time, as in your baseline state. I mean, if somebody is being stupid, of course you're not gonna like how you feel. But I mean, your baseline, you're just tranquil and whatnot. If you don't feel at peace, it means it's not you who are feeling not at peace, it's your gut microbiome who is using you like if they were a parasite, for example, as basically a vessel. You are basically a vessel for your gut microbiome. If you're unhappy, it's because they are unhappy and they are expressing themselves right here in the face and whatnot. In your paralysis, in your harm, whatever. They are expressing themselves. Even if you have, just like me, the lack of a proper developed jaw, it reveals that your parents were not so attentive for you to get complete nutrition. You get what I mean? Ground beef, it's amazing. It's better in instances as compared to just steaks, even fatty steaks, because even raw fatty steaks, because of the collagen. There's a lot of undigestible components such as connective tissue within ground beef, which feed your biome. So it's very important if you are eating raw. And since you are cooking from frozen, or eating from frozen in my case, I mean, if you sear it or lightly cook, it's not gonna be a big deal. You will make sure you are low in histamine, which is basically what creates a problem for a great number of people who try carnivore. I mean, around like, I mean, I'm not gonna be 100% on this one, but it's around 10% of the population as sensitive to activity to histamine, to aged foods like aged cheeses, like prosciutto, like you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, if you went on the wild wilderness and just ate whatever you wanted, within the middle of the wilderness, you try some leaves, spit them out. You try some roots, spit them out. Try some tubers. I mean, it's terrible, but at least I feel somewhat fed. You try some fruits if it's the autumn, it's only when they're not occurring, or some honey. Oh my god, I'm gonna eat as many as I can. If you find some eggs, my god, I don't like these slimy whites, these slimy actually clears, but the yolk, and then if you can get your hands, your nose, your mouth on some flesh, whether it's from the river or from the land or from the air, I mean, you'll see what complete nutrition, what feeling filled feels like. Thanks for watching.